Let's ask Paolo as a question for us. Do you guys on the team value more quantity or quality? How many games do you require a month? Requires not the best word. I know what you mean though. I know what you mean. Like how many games are expected? So I would say, both is obviously kind of part of the package, right? So I would say if I had to choose one, it would be quality. But at the same time, you can't really... I don't think it's feasible to be a member of Team 601 and play 10 hours a month, right? I talked about this before, but like obviously the goal of Team 601 is to try and make the members as good as possible. We put lots and lots of resources in terms of trying to improve players, both from the technical point of view, but then we also sort of have lots of mental perspectives. We have a kind of holistic approach in terms of some of the life lessons, and Jack is fantastic in terms of, happiness and life quality and things like that. And then you have like Oscars in terms of some mental game coaching as well, which is fantastic. Resources everywhere. Wabs will teach you all about GTO stuff. I'll talk about, lots of like technical work, some areas maybe to league find, whatever. And obviously on top of that, the staking, there's always risk with new players and stuff like that. And so like I think you want to typically we would anticipate that like 100 hours a month is kind of like a good benchmark for like approximately where we should be at. In having said that, quality in terms of like game, if you want to do 100 hours a month and you want a 2-table, that's not a problem. You can do 100 hours a month 2-tabling, probably preferred than like, hey, I've 12-tabled for 25 hours and I played more games, but I didn't play a very good session or whatever. I was stressed or tilted or whatever. So yeah, it's a bit of both. But to be honest, I think the best thing, like I always feel like the best thing is just the personality of people applying. And so like if people are decent, nice, honest, hardworking, and enthusiastic and keen to learn, like honestly, like pretty liberal, pretty relaxed thresholds for getting in. I'd much rather work with guys that are like enthusiastic, keen, and have good attitudes, and try and make them as good as possible. And typically we can do quite a good job of improving guys and getting their skill set better. Then working with guys that maybe have better initial results, but have maybe a worse attitude or approach and think, I know it all. I don't want any. Which, you do find that poker creates many opportunities for poker arrogance. And sometimes the arrogance can be justified, Like a lot of people have good results and that's totally fine. And we obviously respect everybody with good results. But it's just... the majority of Team 651 is I think it's a very good place with a lot of very good individuals, and I really like the kind of the culture of the stable, and I would like to. I don't have tons of influence, right? I'm not involved in the recruitment or anything. I don't make any of the executive decisions, but I think it's very nice to kind of keep that in mind if we were to take recruitment. All of this, by the way, all of this in a positive way, So what I actually want to do is to try not to disincentivize people from applying. Don't worry if you feel like your results are not where they want to be, or if you're not playing high enough stakes, or you haven't put enough volume in. Just make an application and be quite thorough with it. And if you approach it with a lot of enthusiasm, I think you can have a good shot at getting in. Hopefully that was helpful. Rambled away. I have no influence in the recruitment. So, but you can say, oh, Texas Tomo likes me on Twitch. You can say that, Paolo. Put in a good word for you. Maravici, how many tables do you play when you're not streaming? I will play between 2 and 9, depending on the situation. Last night I was playing 9 and 6, and also for a bit too. It just depends on lots of different things. Yeah. Playing bingo is problem in itself. Isaac says, I've only been to bingo a few times, but there's definitely problem bingo players. I can confirm. I used to take my granny to bingo. Let's add the buy-ins because I've been told my buy-ins are wrong. So thank you very much for letting me know. Pilzent, and thank you and welcome. Let's have a quick look and see what the buy-ins are looking like. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Who would like to guess how many buy-ins we're off by? That's right, 1,500. Thank you very much. I completely forgot to add the buy-ins. It's not deliberate. The caches, 5, 1. The caches are accurate. All right. Good. We're okay. I think it's 8. I don't know. 8 is about the threshold. Maybe I could have min-raised that. I don't know. Yeah, so I used to take my granny to bingo. This is 5 years ago, bless her. R.I.P. Gran. But you would see basically Mecca Bingo. It's a really interesting place, right? Because obviously as a poker player, you're a bit more familiar with some of the maths that's running behind the hall. And it's incredible, like the kind of understanding that a lot of people had in terms of how bingo worked. And they would do these sort of like, you'd have the local bingo, competitions, and they'd say things like, "Oh, this bingo round, we're going to give you the free. You're going to get the top row already done for you, just for free." And the whole industry is designed to basically be a hoover for kind of OAP's money. Old age pensioners, give us your handbags, we'll take your money, don't worry. To be fair, if you're an old age pensioner and you're not very sociable, it's a very nice place, and they do I used to like going there because you get a nice lunch, and my granny liked it, and she had her friends there and say hello, and it's like a nice sociable place. But like you do understand when they go, oh, the manager comes and goes, oh, hello you, and you're like, oh, it's like a VIP casino player, I mean, someone comes in and they go, yeah, let's roll out the big guns. Have you ever seen those documentaries in Las Vegas where they put the big gambler up in the executive suite, and he doesn't have to pay for food or anything, and they're like, yeah, come on, and he's putting like 50k at the blackjack. They have the equivalent, but it's just like basically the manager of bingo is friendly to you, sort of thing, and they had these promotions where it was like, oh yeah, you get the corners free this time, and I was like, oh, corners free, put my pound in, and everything's rated 50%, and then they have national tournaments where it's like, oh, here's you're playing for 10,000 or something. Get exciting, but of course there's 20,000 people playing, yeah, they'd link up the national, be all exciting, So yeah, probably the best dinner stadium in the world. Definitely not a cult. Definitely confirmed not a cult. I've gone blurry. We'll jam the king 8. How many time is the duration of contract? Can I make an application on Discord? So the Discord has, I think, the how to make an application. I think it's just you fill out the web application, and feel free, Paolo, to be like, Texas Tom has recommended me. That may help or it may hinder. Maybe they say, no, we've actually had a lot of Texas Tom recommendations and they've all been terrible. So maybe don't mention that. I don't know. It's your choice. You can say Texas Tom has recommended me, or actually you say, I don't even know who Texas Tom is. And maybe they go, oh, that's good. We're actually looking for more people who've not watched Twitch. It's very poor demographic, apparently. King Queen suited. Good luck, us. Cricoit. Welcome, Cricoit. Hey, Thomas, what is your chip review on $100 spins? So, back in the day on Stars, this is now a long time ago, and so no longer really relevant. You can go, I think if you do command results or command graph or something, you can see my old 2018 PokerStars reg speed $100 spin chips, which were 60 something, which that sounds really good, but it was 5 years ago almost, and so it was a different age. In terms of party ultras, funnily enough, I actually haven't looked, like I said, I've only been playing hundreds full time for a month, 2 months, but I haven't actually got the sample to be able to say it's definitively this or yet. But I would say it's going to be somewhere between 4 and 9 is my... come back to me in 3 months and I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's 4. It's going to be... if you told me exactly, like, I would say 6.5. But I don't actually have a sufficient sample to say that with certainty. But we had just about 5 at the 250s plus combined. So I think it should. 100s are a bit reggier than they used to be. So I think achievable. Double figures was definitely achievable a couple of years ago. I think less so now. And it also depends on the volume a bit. And we're not doing the best game selection at this point. But yeah, I hope high single digit figures. Weird spot here. What do we call by if we bet turn? Nothing. So let's check turn. We're not worried about an ace, right? So let's check and see if our friend wants to bluff with queen high. Or maybe call a bit. She's got a lot of king eights here. It's a natural kind of check call. How do we get called by queen high here? I don't know if we can. Maybe an 8? I don't know. I'm just going to bet. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of king eights, right, in that range. So, but there's a really interesting question on the river. Like, what can we get called by that's worse? Because there's still 10x in that range. And then, I mean, an 8x, right, would be like queen 8 suited, maybe it calls flop, but I'm not sure it does always. But all the king x calls flop, typically at least. So maybe we can min bet, but I feel like the smaller we go, the more it's perceived at a sign. Really interesting. Don't know. Now, we've had a couple of guys who've significantly upscaled their rental situation, and so far we've had 100% success rate. That does mean that we are due someone to fail. Freddie looks like it could be him. Freddie, you're welcome to come live here, mate, if it all goes wrong. Can you do anything useful around the house is the question. Or maybe live with Ducky and Wubsy? That's another option. Freddie says, lifetime graph EV and rate bet for all the graph porn lovers. I honestly, this sounds a bit of a cop-out, but it is true. I haven't checked my results at all this month. And I don't actually want to look at them. It's been very it's something I've been trying to do because I'm playing lots of volume. And I'm trying not to get too up and down in terms of like, oh, day was good, day was bad. It's all nonsense, right? Short term. So I know long term we're going to be okay. And so I've actually not checked my results once this month, despite importing all the hands. But that doesn't mean I can't look at my graph. I'm so sorry. But it sounds like just a get out. But like that's one of the reasons why I was a bit iffy about my actual results, because the honest answer is this is almost half my volume at the hundreds. So I don't actually know what my Chippy is. I think it's between 4 and 9. It could be better. It could be worse. It felt like it's been okay. And my estimate is wherever in between those. But yeah. Hey Tom, that's a question we asked ourselves with our friend recently. How many players, if any, reached 1 million EV on spins only? Okay, so spins have been out for 8 years, but the high stakes spins have not been out for that long at all. Let's think. If we had someone making, let's take an average of 20k EV a month, would be 50 months, would be 4 years. I would suggest that would be globally single digit. I think some of the challenges is if you make 500k EV of spins, a lot of people who start performing really well in spins typically will move away from spins a little bit. You know, I'll go play MTTs, I'll go play live cash, I'll go do whatever, I'll move into business, I'll take my money, whatever, elsewhere. So, yeah, it's something that I would. Initially I was going to say I don't think anyone's done it, but actually I think some people should have done it. I'm trying to think of myself and like, we're not quite there yet. A few more years maybe. But I think if you give it a few more years, there'll be certainly double digits by then. But yeah, I would say. Like if we knew precisely what the EV of everybody and no one had made 1 million, I wouldn't be surprised. Definitely, you can definitely say it's above 500k. That's like definitive. We know that for sure. And there are guys who've made 200, 300k EV in a year as well. We know that definitive for sure. I think there's people who've made 1 million. I think I could go do do a bit of research in the Steel Phoenix /601 / what's the other pool? Hyper School, and have a look and see. But yeah, I was going to look at the notes, but no, shouldn't really. Interesting sizing choice here. I think we'll just keep it normal. Kind of sucks a bit. Some 910s definitely there, some 87s, Jack 8. Not really any A6, of course, but it's pretty tough to get 3 treats from a worse hand.